Hi, Annie here, and today I have a kind of collective craft haul. It's bits and pieces I've bought since the last one, I guess, and I can't remember when that was. In the fall, winter, early winter, I can't remember. Anyway, I've got the bits and pieces I've bought since then. If you're interested in that type of thing, keep watching. If not, I'll see you next week, but let's get started. So this is probably one of the things I bought the furthest back, and that was, oh, just a second, my paintbrushes are all falling apart here, but it is a paint set from Royal and Langlickel. Now it came with this, it's kind of a flimsy plastic tray on the one side, but so I'm not going to try to take it out because I feel like I'm going to crack it getting back in again. It came with 6 paints in tubes. They're watercolors, a paintbrush, a pencil, an eraser, and a sharpener. I haven't used the pencil, the brush that came with it, the eraser, or the sharpener, but I have used the paints. They're pretty, I really actually quite like them. They're certainly not like professional grade. This is definitely the Essentials line from Royal and Langlickel. I think if I knew now what I'd known when I was buying this, I probably wouldn't have picked this set up, but this was kind of like the first thing I was starting to buy after getting into watercolor. I had my old set from when I was a child, but that wasn't quite cutting it, and I was missing a lot of colors, so I picked this up. Yeah, like I said, as you can see, I've been using the green a bit more recently. But yeah, it was okay. I've got this at HomeSense for $5.99, so I certainly didn't pay a huge amount for it. And I did come with a little thing of watercolor paper as well. I haven't used this paper yet. It's very, very thin, so I think I definitely have to tape it to have it not buckle, because I have been using quite a lot of water on the paper when I paint. So, but I am looking forward to using that. Well, not looking forward, but I am going to use that. It's not something that's just going to go to waste, but I did primarily buy it for the paints. Now, the other thing that was in there that I've also purchased more recently, I believe anyway, is paintbrushes. And these were Artist Loft from Michaels. Now again, if I knew now what I knew then, these probably wouldn't be the paintbrushes I would pick up. They were a good price. The ones I've used, they shed a fair bit at the start anyway. They don't wash super easy without splaying, which has been a bit annoying. But I think, again, for a starting set, to even just see if I was going to continue on and use watercolors, that was great, because I had 3 brushes before, again, from childhood, and they were these 2 and then a big one. If you remember, like, basically from like preschool, sorry, just a second, something's falling off the bed here. Basically from preschool, those big square brushes, it was one of those. So, 2 tiny ones that, this one's very stiff, this one's stiff, but also kind of splayed from use. So I wanted to try some new ones, and these certainly kind of fit the budget for trying to see if it was something I was going to continue on and enjoy doing, which it is. And that's also why you're going to see some more watercolor stuff in this video as we go forward. But actually, in that same time that I bought those other 2 things, I also picked up this watercolor paper. Again, this watercolor paper is not what I would recommend, at least in Canada. In the States, it apparently is much cheaper, and I didn't realize that at the time. When I purchased this, it looked very similar in price to the Strathmore like high series, but the 300 and 400 series. And so I thought this was just like a different option, and it was like $1 cheaper, and because there was like a sale on something, and it just worked out that I thought that this was a better deal that day, because overall the kind of starting price was very, very similar across the board. That is not the case. This in other places is much, much less expensive. That's great. It's great. You can't get a lot of lift. If you do watercolors, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can't lift color off the card once it's on. Doesn't tolerate being super wet great. But again, I'm going to use this for certain paintings I'm doing. I did have some Strathmore 400 from before, so I'm going to continue using that until it goes away. And I'll use this for some projects where I know I'm not going to be lifting anything or doing that. It was disappointing to learn that the prices were kind of misleading at the start, but again, we have that a lot in Canada. It's just sometimes lower priced items end up looking like medium priced items. Somehow they end up being the same price as the medium level, and it can sometimes be a bit frustrating to go by. That was my fault, though. I hadn't done the research before purchasing. The next thing I have here, I purchased from Amazon, and they are Sargent Art oil pastels. It's 25, a set of 25 colored pastels. They're quite small, as you can see, but they're like a normal size, I believe, for a watercolor. And I've used them a couple times. I think actually in one of the books I have here, I have a sample. Yeah, this was the color chart thing I made up. The white here that you can see that's got a orange streak in the middle. I must have had like a little flake of orange on my finger when I was going through and doing that. I was quite happy with how they blended out and all that. I did get some cross contamination there in the colors a couple places, but overall that was just to test to see how they blended out, and they worked. And I've never really used oil pastels, appropriately or properly before, so I'm trying to learn more there and see how it goes. But I think these ones, I've been really happy with how they've worked out that way for me. So the next thing I have here is a group of sequins, and these have, I think, 9 different colors, and they were from Michaels, and I believe they were around $3.99 for all of them. I got these because I was working on something specific, either in December or January, and then I ended up not adding the sequins to what I thought I was going to use them for. I used beads instead. And I also picked up these when I was sequin shopping at the time, because I found them for 89 cents at Len's Mills store. And we have one of those kind of not super far, not super close, but not super far. And I got this kind of like opalescent color, and then also a fuchsia. And they were also 89 cents, and so I'm pretty happy with those. Again, I picked these ones up not knowing that they weren't right for what I was doing at the time, but for the price I thought it would save me going out and looking for another one later on. Let's see here. I've got some earring, like hooks, fish hook type earring styles. I was doing a little bit more beading at the beginning of the year, and I wanted to make some earrings. I still plan to. I just haven't ended up making them so far. These ones were just the cheaper ones from Walmart. Again, I'd never made like earrings before. I've used the fasteners in bracelets and stuff like that, but I'd never used the earrings, and sometimes it can be kind of tricky to get them to attach to hooks and stuff. So again, I wanted to see if I could get stuff to attach where it would stay on and not like bend funny and look right before I paid for a more expensive hook, which I would, if I was ever going to be making stuff to give away or do more with, I would probably always get the silver ones, but for practice those seemed like a good way to go. And at the same time as I got those, but from Michaels, I picked up this little red ink pad. This is in those bins at the front where they have discounted things. I used this on a birthday card I was making along with some blue ink. They work out really good, and I think they're around $1.50, and if you've got a coupon or whatever, they're even more off. So I do like that. And sorry, I'm sitting in a sea and trying to pick out what I haven't actually shown you already before. And this that I have here is a disposable fountain pen by Bic. And these ones are okay. I don't like them as much as the ones that come in the 5-pack, which I'm all out of, otherwise I'd show you, but I got rid of my last one a while ago. I think they were Pilot ones. I'll see again if I can find them, but they weren't available at the time that I ordered these. I have since seen them on Amazon. Fountain pen and disposable fountain pens can be really hard to find here in Canada. Fountain pens are, but you can find fountain pens more easy than you can find the disposable ones or the ones just with the cartridges inside. So I really like writing with them. So I picked up these when I saw them. And I have noticed, though, that Amazon.ca is stocking tons more pens and stuff that we just haven't had, like, easily accessible in ages. So that's been a really nice thing. And here I've got some, and this is what I was talking about when I said I had some other stuff later on. These are the Derwent 24 watercolor pencils. And I was really excited to find these. Again, I picked these up on Amazon.ca. They were, I don't know whether it was a one-day discount, because I'd been kind of stalking a bunch of craft supplies, and then these all of a sudden showed up drastically cheaper, so I picked them up right away. But since then, I haven't seen them for that low. I haven't opened them yet because I haven't been sitting up very much to work on anything. But I'm really looking forward to trying these. These ended up being about the same price as it would have been, like a couple dollars more, but overall kind of the same price as the Reeves or the Royal and Langlickel would be. And yet these are, you know, normally a much more kind of expensive brand and definitely a higher quality, which I was really looking at potentially getting the Royal and Langlickel or the Reeves to try, but when these came up for kind of in the same price range, I thought I'd try them instead. Having said all that, I also did get a Reeves watercolor tin. These were also on much cheaper than what they are now, and it had some colors in it that I do not have in the Royal and Langlickel set or the old set I had from when I was a kid. And I found that sometimes I just was running into trouble because I was, you know, I didn't have like the yellow, like I'd have lemon but not ochre, or the same with the greens, like I'd have one or the other in a lot of things. So this has like 2 different types of blue, like the 2 different types of like actually 3 different types of kind of reddy colors, because it's got an orange, a red, and then like a brownie red and stuff like that. So I was actually saying that it's got the list of colors right here, so that shouldn't have been as, you know, difficult to get out. But yeah, it's got the Prussian blue and ultramarine and things like that, so that should make it a little bit easier. And again, I know this isn't like artist quality necessarily, but for right now, I'm just trying to see how much I enjoy doing it, and these seem to be a decent set that I can definitely, you know, use and get something out of. And finally, I have a giant ball of crochet thread. I don't have the label anymore, but this, I believe, is the Bernat one, and it's the bigger kind of roll that you can get. There's my hand for size example, or actually here's the pen case. Like, it's a really big ball of yarn and, well, crochet thread. And I got this because I'd been working doing something in a red crochet thread, and I decided I wanted to put an accent on it. And again, this, I've been enjoying using the thinner thread for some things and for sometimes, and just doing stuff different with to give my hands a break, or, you know, just to keep it interesting. And so I did pick up the big one of these because price wise it made more sense when I do plan on doing more in the future. So that is all the craft supplies I have picked up in since the last one. At least I hope it is. I mean, it's enough, really. I know it's not a huge amount, but it is enough. I guess the only other thing I picked up was I did get a few more balls of the big Red Heart yarn. They came back into my Walmarts locally, and I did pick up a few more blue, cream, and I think the light tan, because I thought then I'd have a bit more for bigger projects. But So that's pretty much all I've had, and I hope you are having a great day, and let me know below what your favorite recent craft purchase has been, or what crafts you're enjoying doing at the moment. I'd love to hear. On Instagram, I do post more pictures of what I'm working on currently, so you can find me over there. If you are interested, I'm at Anytime on Instagram, and that'll be my username will be below if you're interested. So I think that's everything. Please subscribe if you are interested in seeing more. I put out new videos on Wednesday, generally about TV and movie related stuff, but sometimes it's just, crafty stuff. Sometimes it's just chatting. So join me and let's chat if you're interested. I don't know what I'm saying now. I've gone delusional with talking, but I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.